Hi, welcome to module 28, which is how to cut tiles against the floor. So we've just finished the module of the way we've actually sort of tiled the floor, which is pretty straightforward, and would have had to cut the edges in as we went. Now in the wall module, when I showed you about cutting wall angles in, we're actually flipping the tile over and then marking it and bringing it round to the front. So you should know how to do the wall version. Never do this one on the wall because the middle tile is going to slide through. So I call this a triple decker. So let's just say this tile here was in position on the floor, all right? And we'll have to cut this tile in against this angle of this wall. So this level really is basically just checking that it's running out, right? So that's your wall off. We need to cut this wedge in here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to leave this tile obviously in the adhesive, and then this tile here would go on the top of that. Now this is the piece that's going to end up in there, right? So the reason why it's called triple is because there's three. So I'm going to put the next tile on the top of this, and I'm going to simply slide that over to there like that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave about the grout joint where I need against the wall there. So I'm going to leave about like a 3mm gap, which is there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw a line between them two, like that. So therefore, this piece here is going to be that cut. So if I just lift this up, I put this down the cutting bar here. So just align that. So score that. Remember, we're breaking this an inch from the top. It's a quick flick. And then this piece here should fit exactly into there. So I've automatically got my gap left here, and I've automatically got my gap left there. So again, that's a perfect angle against this wall. So again, just make sure you leave the gap only against here. Don't leave the gap there and there, otherwise it's going to be too big. So again, if you leave the same gap every time, you're going to get a uniform sort of cut. So whether you want to leave like a 6mm gap, a 3mm gap, because it's a movement joint against the wall, or just a general spacer against the wall, whatever gap you want to leave against the wall, leave that on the triple. So again, very easy. Another way you could do it is you could do a direct measurement, which is just a piece of tile. You also can have a bit of a waste tile. So again, if I just put that, and this will work on the wall as well. If I put that gap there, and I leave that short of wherever I want, and I leave this one short of that, all I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer that to there. So again, if that mark was there, you can see it's the same length, but on a big tile it would be marked to there, which is that gap, and I can mark that one to there like that, 2mm short of that, or 3mm, whatever you're doing, and then mark that one to there, which again is exactly the same length as that. So that length has been transferred to there, that length has been transferred to there. So we don't really need any tape measures and numbers, we just need an actual distance. So it's either the triple decker or the distance measure, cut the line through, and you've got that piece. So again, back to floors, it's very easy to stick the tiles down in a block formation. It's very easy to cut the angles in. But like I said, on the walls, never do this situation on a wall of the triple decker, because what you'll find is the middle tile will slide down on the vertical and it's going to land on a shower tray and break it. So go back to the flipping method on the walls, but you've got two choices on the floor. Hi, my name's Darren from UK Pro Tile and Training. What you're just seeing is one of the actual lessons from our practical train from home tiling course. It's one of the most powerful tiling courses that you can get if you want to try and do any projects yourself, or you want to actually like sort of take up a career in tiling. We get asked quite a few questions about the course, which comes up on our frequently asked questions page. So I'm just going to run through some of them now. So the first one is, how do I know if I'm doing it right? So what I've done is the videos that you're just seeing, it's a follow along. It's not something that you just really watch. You should be like sort of having the setup like what I show you how to do, and you'd be actually following along with what I'm doing. So in that lesson that you've just seen, which is how to cut the angles in against a wall that's running off, you can see I'm doing a triple decker where I'm putting one tile on the top of the next one and sliding it over, and you would just be following along with that. So sometimes people think, well, how will I know if I'm doing it right? Well, the breakdown of the video that I've tried to show you is it is so clear to follow along with when you actually like sort of just watch and copy what I've done, your tile is going to fit perfectly as well. So it is very easy to follow along with. There's 45 lessons in the whole course. Some of them are short, some of them are long. So I've just done a sample of a short one there, just to give you the flavour of like sort of how the course works. Another question is, people say, how will I know if I'm doing it right? So again, there's two ways. You're going to know that you're doing it right because actually whatever you do in the lesson, it will actually like sort of either fit or it won't fit in the one that you've just seen. But it's really impossible not to like sort of follow along with it. There's a full written explanation down the side as well of what I've actually done on that. Again, another question is, do I have any time limits? There is no time limit to complete the course. You get access immediately to the whole 45 video lessons. And once you've set up your workstation, you would just take your time and just follow along each one in turn until you've completed it. Again, people say, how will I get any feedback? Well, what I do is I give you like sort of email and you've got full tutor support from myself. And what a lot of people do is along their journey, they'll take pictures of the tiling work that they're actually doing, and then they'll send them pictures in, and I'll get back and I'll give them feedback on how well they're doing or whether they've made any mistakes or not. But generally, like sort of people know what they've done really well. So all it is a bit of a confidence boost. I find that people just want to know that they're doing well. Again, what people say is, what's the difference between the practical training center version of this course is against like sort of this practical home version? There is no difference whatsoever. Every lesson that you see on this course would have been done by myself in the training center. So again, I come back to that lesson that you just watched there. That would have been on, say, day 2 of a 13-day tiling course. And I would have demonstrated exactly the same to a group of like sort of 12 people. And then what you'd have done is you'd have went back to your little unit and then you'd have practiced that same like sort of technique. Now, the downsides of that is you'd have another like sort of 10 days of or so of tiling demonstrations to do. And then when you leave, you're going to have to try and remember that exact like sort of demonstration I've just done there. Now, when you leave, you may be setting up a business and it might take you another 2 or 3 weeks after you've left the course. So you come to that situation on a customer's job and you're trying to think back 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, how did I do that actual like sort of cut? Where the beauty about this sort of system is you've got access from a mobile phone, from a laptop, a computer, anywhere that has internet connection. So even if you're live on the job, you could just like sort of bring back your course up, dial straight into that lesson and watch the video again there and then at the customer's job and say, right, oh, that's how I did it. So again, very easy to recap all these lessons. The next thing is set up a workstation. So again, another really frequently question is, how big a space do I need? Well, the answer is not a lot of space. So what I've done here is I've just set up in the corner of a garage, but this could be a shed, it could be a spare wall. So you don't really need a lot of space. So ideally, in the corner of a garage, you'd have a piece of plywood on this wall and a piece of plywood on this wall. So that is the only space you need, literally next to nothing. Even if that is too much for you, you could get away with just one board, because tiling is very repetitive and there's a lot of the exercises just repeat itself. So let's just say we're doing a tiling exercise of putting tiles on a wall. Again, if we have some tiles here, which are 6-inch tiles, and there's a box of 44, what we could do here is practice learning how to like sort of trowel the wall and then applying them tiles. And once I've showed you how to apply them tiles correctly in this like sort of area here, you're going to know by the time you look at it, and once you've watched the video and you've seen how to trowel the wall properly and you've seen how to apply the tiles, you're going to know by referencing what you've just seen me do and what you've just done there that they will be perfect. And again, what a lot of people do is they'll set up a little shelf here, and if they're doing it from a shed, they might have the iPad there so they can like sort of watch the video, then they can replicate that skill there, and then they can stop it and rewind it and then do it again and do it again. Now, if you can put a block of tiles on here, there'd be no difference if that wall was all the way along and you were doing the same thing again and you were putting the next block of tiles there and the next block of tiles there. So you really don't need a great deal of space. It's all about the quality of the understanding of what you're actually doing. So likewise, if you come to deal with a pipe, so again, I've just stuck a hole in here and just put a pen there. So again, if this was a pipe coming through the wall, one of the exercises is going to be, how do I deal with a pipe? So what we'd do, we'd tile up to this point, and then what I would show you is how to actually get this tile with a hole drilled in it, so that would fit exactly over the top of that pipe. And again, go back to the question, people say, how will I know if I've done it right? Well, it's because when I show you the technique of how you bring this tile up and you mark it and you bring it here and you cross off the coordinates and you drill it out, that will fit exactly over. So again, I'm talking a little bit about some of the techniques that obviously I haven't gone into at the minute, but you will see this crystal clear of how to do it, and you just simply follow along. So again, the critique that I give people is generally just well done. You've done it really well. It's not a case of like, sort of, I've done it wrong. What have I done wrong? Because the videos are, again, so crystal clear. You just stop it, wind it again, and rewatch it and do it until you get it right. So another thing is like sort of tools. So again, a lot of people say, well, do I need to buy some tools? Well, even if you had to come to my training center and you want to go and do some jobs after you've gone to the training center version, you're going to have to buy tools anyway. So tools, there's different variants of quality of tools. You can get real cheap and nasty up to right top end professional. So good professional tiling tools is always going to be the best one to get in the first place, because they tend to last a long time. You don't have to replace them. So to get a good quality starter pack, a full professional tiler would have about 38 tiling tools in the whole range. That's to go out and tile self-employed for a living. However, you don't need all them 38 tools to complete this course. You just need a selection of them tools. So on one of the lessons, it's lesson 4, I go right the way through describing what different tools are and which tile cutters are the best, and demonstrations on tile cutters in use. But what I've done is I've done a print off here, and when you click that print off, it will produce this. And we're actually working in partnership with Tops Tiles at the moment, who's doing a great deal for the likes of anybody that wants to come on our course, an exclusive deal. So what we've done here is I've listed them 38 tools on this print off. That's what you would need in the whole long run. But again, what I've done is I've highlighted in blue literally the items that you would need, which are the essentials, like a trowel, a tile cutter, just the basic essentials. So again, Tops Tiles will set up an instant trade account for you. So again, this has got barcodes on here. What Tops Tiles are kindly doing is giving you a free starter adhesive pack. So again, all your adhesives, your grouts, trims, stuff like that you would need to complete. All you need to do is take this list into any Tops Tile store throughout the UK. They will set up your trade accounts for you. So everything that you purchase from them will become instantly at trade prices. All your tools is going to be at trade prices. They generally have them in stock, so you can take away your tools the same day and you could get started that night on your course. So all in all, very easy to follow along with the course. 45 pro lessons of how to tile correctly for a living or any jobs that you need for yourself. So hopefully this has been some of help, just explaining about a few of the questions that people ask, and hopefully that clears your mind of like sort of just how easy and how professional this course is to actually follow along at the highest levels. Thanks for watching.